Hey friends, welcome to this Jersey Girls home. I'm Vicky and today is all about breakfast items.
Be a friend, put a heart in the comments, like, and subscribe.
We need to get breakfast items in that freezer, make our lives easier. We love homemade and from scratch, and sometimes it's not easy to do that on a daily basis. So we're getting the freezer stocked up. Yesterday we harvested from the garden some fresh foods and got those all cleaned up. And what else did we do? Oh, we made burgers and dinner. Well, we didn't get that far. We got more to go today. We're going to work on a huge batch of French toast for the freezer so that we have quick access to a breakfast food item. So let's get at it. All right, guys, we're going to get 4 eggs in here. That's what we're going to start with. One and a third cup of milk. Half a teaspoon of cinnamon and 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And then we're going to mix this up really, really good so that we can coat our bread in this mixture. Okay, so I'm going to get some butter on there. And you don't need much because it's not really the biggest flavor for it. It's just a little bit of flavor. Most of our flavor, all of our flavor, 99% of our flavor is coming from this bowl right here. Now, if you've watched my channel before, you know we make French toast around here, and this is a favorite food. I don't necessarily only use brioche bread. This is brioche bread, but I got it on sale at Costco. It was like a 2-pack for $8. So it was $4 a loaf. So normally I would just honestly buy whatever bread or use whatever bread I had. Sometimes I do get raisin cinnamon bread. That's another one that's really good. And actually, come to think of it, I might actually have a loaf of that in my freezer. I should probably pull out and use that too. We'll see if we get that far. But for now, we're going to get the stuff going that we need to get going. That's already out of the freezer. But that is a good thing to remember. I had it in there for that we could pull it out, but okay. And we're gonna let this cook. We still have more mixture in here. And the reason I split it was because sometimes the cinnamon will just float to the top, and then all your beginning pieces will have some cinnamon, and then none in the middle to end. So that's why I split it, so it could be a little mixed in better. And now you can see I still have cinnamon in here. And it didn't get all used on the first couple of slices. usually this mixture will give me enough for a whole loaf of bread. So even if eggs are expensive, the protein you're getting out of it will be enough to make that 4 eggs worth it for a batch. Because this whole batch could definitely feed us dinner with some fruit and stuff. If you wanted to add extra protein like ham or bacon, steak, any of those things, you could. But if you didn't, you'd still have enough protein within this meal to get you through. French toast is kind of like a sponge. Well, not French toast. The bread is like a sponge, and it sucks up this moisture and the flavors that are all mixed in here so quickly. You don't need to dip it in for long. I made a second batch, but I want to use up this one first. This is just such an easy food to make. And it's definitely got to be healthier. But I know, like, my kids at home, like, they just love my cooking. They know if I make it, that they love it. It's so funny. They could have spaghetti at an Italian restaurant, and they will not like it as much as the spaghetti that I make. It's just funny how they love the food that they grow up on. And not that they don't like eating other places, it's just they always tell me, we missed yours if we don't have it something that I make in a while. So I always say love is the secret ingredient. We got our French toast done. Now we're gonna make waffles. I'm thinking we're gonna end up doubling this recipe, but we're gonna make peanut butter waffles. Let's double it. 1, 2. Go big or go home, right? So 4 cups of flour. Half a cup of sugar. 2 tablespoons of baking powder. And a half a teaspoon of salt. This is in our big bowl. We're going to mix this up. Mix our dry ingredients up. And then we'll mix our wet ingredients in a medium-sized bowl. We're not done yet though. We're making peanut butter waffles. We're making blueberry waffles. And I was thinking about maybe a cinnamon waffle. So let's see. We shall see. Okay, wet ingredients. 2 eggs. Oh, I just threw out my eggshell. Totally moving that over to my compost. That would make my garden happy. My garden will thank me later. Okay, 2 cups of milk. A 1/4 cup of oil, and I think pretty sure I've been using coconut oil. 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Where's that vanilla extract? Here we are. And a half a cup of peanut butter. We're doubling this recipe. Oh goodness. That I did not do on the wet ingredients. Okay, 4 eggs. We're gonna add 2 more eggs. I just threw this out too. Oh my goodness. 2 more cups of milk. 1 more teaspoon of vanilla. Another half cup of peanut butter. And we want a 1/4 cup of oil in a single batch, but this is going to be a double batch, so we want half a cup, and I shouldn't have used this one because now I can't use this. I don't want to put peanut butter back in my coconut oil. All right, let's try that again. I love the smell of it. I don't know how it doesn't make your food taste like coconut, but it doesn't. Okay, so we're gonna mix this really well, and then we're gonna mix them together without over-mixing the dry ingredients. Let's see how well we do. I think normally I actually heat up the milk so that the coconut oil kind of melts in really nicely, but we are big batch cooking here, and we do not have time for the small stuff, so we're just gonna mix it in. It's still gonna turn out fantastic. Okay, this is gonna go sit by the big waffle maker because that's the one I'm gonna use for the regular peanut butter waffles, and we're gonna let that heat up. This one we're gonna make a regular size batch of blueberry waffles. Okay, we're gonna kind of make a well in the middle there, and then we're just gonna add our wet ingredients in. And then we're gonna add our blueberries. We're gonna add about a 1/4 cup of regular big old blueberry, and then we'll add about another 1/4 cup of wild blueberries because they're small and they kind of keep their shape a little bit more, but I do kind of want, maybe it's like a 1/3 of a cup, but I kind of want that pop of blueberry in with the wild blueberries that hold their shape. And the regular blueberries are a little bit more tart than the wild blueberries. The wild blueberries, to me, are much sweeter. And so I kind of want that textural diff and taste difference. Okay, let's get this cooking. Okay guys, now we get to get this going. All right, we're gonna let that cook until it beeps and tells us that it's time to remove. Over here, I'm heating this up, and then I'm going to get my blueberry mixture cooking on this waffle maker. FYI, if you're allergic to peanut butter, don't feel like this recipe cannot be for you. It can be. You can switch out peanut butter with yogurt. Greek yogurt is really good. It has high protein, and that will give you that high protein waffle mixture. You could also use oat flour if you didn't want to use regular flour. There's definitely some really easy substitutions you can make to this recipe to meet your dietary needs. I really like this recipe because it gives us that extra boost of protein and something that my kids love, and they love peanut butter flavor, so it works out perfect. We took a break, and now I just bagged up my breakfast items to go in the freezer. Let's put them away. We have peanut butter waffles, blueberry waffles, and then we have 2 bags of French toast. So far we made 5 bags of breakfast items. All right, now it's time to make our delicious, healthier chocolate muffins. These are my daughter's favorite muffins. First, we start with the dry ingredients. We're gonna add 1 cup of all-purpose flour and 1 cup of oat flour. I like to just take my oats and grind them right up inside a blender or food processor. That will work fantastic. And then I add 3/4 a cup of sugar, and this time I'm using my vanilla sugar. Just want to make sure I pull out those vanilla beans. But this is also really delicious if you want to try that. But you can just add regular white sugar and add vanilla extract in place of the vanilla beans. Then we're going to need a 1/2 cup of unsweetened cocoa powder. You could also use cacao powder if you wanted. 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. Then we mix that all up. All right, now moving on to our wet ingredients. We are going to need 1 can of pureed beets. So including our liquid, we're just gonna put it right into a blender and let that get nice and smooth. We don't want any chunks. And then we'll need 3/4 a cup of applesauce.
I ended up using store-bought applesauce and not telling my daughter about that. I did not think it would be a make or break item. She actually did notice that she did not like the muffins as much as normal. She said, "What did you do different?" And I said, "I don't know. I didn't do anything different." And then when I was actually editing the video, I realized that was the first time I used store-bought applesauce. So somehow, some way, my homemade applesauce has made a difference. We are out of the canned from downstairs. So I guess that will be an upcoming project, is to get more applesauce made ASAP so that she is not jilted by store-bought applesauce. Okay, and then we're gonna add 2 large eggs. And if you wanted to add that vanilla extract, you would do 1.5 teaspoons. I had done the vanilla sugar, so I am skipping that part this time. And then, of course, you do not want to forget 1/2 cup of chocolate chips. After you get all this put together and mixed up, you're going to want to bake the muffins at 350 degrees for about 18 minutes.
Let's make some more batches.
And then I did it all over again so that I could get a double batch made, because my daughter can eat one of those batches in 2 days if she wants to. She loves these muffins, and I wanted to get some in the freezer while giving her some in the fridge. Okay, now it's time to bake, and we're going to put these on the middle rack and let the oven work its magic.
And then in about 18 minutes, your muffins are ready. I'm gonna bring these out to cool before I get my next batch in. Okay, up next, English muffins and then Belgian waffles. Okay, so we're gonna get the English muffin dough prepped because it needs to proof for up to 2 hours before you can shape and make and cook them. So we're gonna do the dough. We're gonna get that sitting. I think we're gonna make 3 batches, and then we can start our Belgian waffles. Okay, so we want 1 3/4 cup of warm milk. A packet of yeast, or 2 1/4 teaspoons. We're gonna let that sit for a couple minutes while we get the rest of our ingredients prepped, which we need 3 tablespoons of softened, unsalted butter. Okay, so I melted the butter and added that. So that was 3 tablespoons of melted butter. Now we're gonna add 1 1/4 teaspoon of fine ground salt. So 1 1/4. Two tablespoons of sugar. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1/2 cups of flour. And 1 egg. Now, this dough is going to be very soft and it's going to be very sticky. So keep that in mind as you move it. We're going to take this out, put it in a oiled bowl, and then we will repeat this process 2 more times. So you can see it's like a sticky ball. So we are going to get that into this oiled pan. Or oiled bowl, not pan. Excuse me. I'm going to top a little bit of oil on here just so that it doesn't stick to my cover. Okay, and then these lovely covers that I got from Costco. There we go. That's all set. We're just going to set this aside to rise. Okay guys, so 3rd batch, ready to go sit, and I'm just going to do a little quick cleanup and then we will get the Belgian waffles ready. Okay, we're going to make Belgian waffles, and instead of using yeast, we're using egg whites that are beaten until they get stiff peaks. We're going to add 2 cups of milk, 1/2 cup of avocado oil, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, we're going to put 2 egg yolks in here and 2 egg whites in there. Okay, that's mixed together. We're gonna beat the egg whites.
Okay, so before I made these wet ingredients, I mixed all my dry ingredients into that big mean white bowl. And in that large bowl, I whisked together 2¼ cups of flour, 4 teaspoons of baking powder, 1/4 cup of sugar, and 3/4 a teaspoon of salt. Then we're going to slowly mix the milk mixture into it, and then we're going to fold the egg whites in. We don't want any streaks remaining, and you don't want to over mix this part either. But it really did come out very nice, soft, fluffy, and it cooked up excellent.
And this looks perfect, nice and light, fluffy looking. We're gonna get it over here to this nice hot iron. Grease that so we don't have any sticking. Woo. And we are just gonna add a little bit in. and let that cook. Okay, so while the waffles are cooking, I'm packaging up these chocolate muffins for my daughter. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 packages. And I'm going to try and get, let's see, I put 4 in this fridge and 4 in our other fridge. 5 in here. So this bag will go in the freezer, and to kind of slow her down because she will eat all of these in one day if I don't. So, like, scavenger hunt them for her. I'm going to put these 4 in our kitchen fridge and these 4 in our backup fridge, and then that way she'll have to go an extra step to refill this fridge, so maybe we'll get this in one day and this in the second day, and then when she wants some more and I don't have time to make them yet, she can grab a bag at a time from the freezer. Belgian waffles done. Check. Now we need to deal with this dough. Look at this sucker. It is like exploding out of the bowl. All right, I got my little assembly line going here. We have some cooking, a few cooling already, and now I'm making some more because I have a tray that's free. So right now I'm just measuring out about 2 ounces. Just trying to get it somewhat close. Sometimes some of them are 2.2, some are 2. Not a big deal. Okay, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna kind of turn it in on itself until I get that tight spread, and then I'm just going to roll it towards me so that everything is pretty tight, and just put it on some cornmeal to sit. I'm gonna go check those in 1 second. I want to get this next one going or set. And then these need to sit for like 20 minutes, so I'm just gonna kind of assembly line them through. Turn it up a bit. And then I'm just really carefully with the seam side down, putting that first and letting that get cooked before I flip it. Okay, so about 10 minutes. The assembly line is moving. These 3 will be up next. And see how this one I kind of had to pull it a little bit extra to get that pulled appearance where it doesn't separate, because you don't want cracks on the outside of your English muffin. All of the muffins are rolled out, and we're just gonna finish cooking them in our batches of 4 per pan. And we ended up with 61, I believe it is. Maybe more. I think it's 61. So we got a good assortment of things to put with our breakfast. Obviously, we'll have like fresh fruit to add, and we can always scramble up an egg or fry up an egg, put it on here, make an egg sandwich. But right now we haven't been able to do that. We just been able to have like eggs and fruit or something ridiculously simple, or I've had to buy bagels because we haven't had time to do all this. So got all this prepped, and now we will be pretty good for a while. Okay, breakfast items are done. We have 2.5 bags of English muffins in here, 2 big ones with 16 each, and then a small one with 7. We have our muffins that we put in here. They're looking pretty good. Let's get this down. Yeah. See, I do have a cinnamon. I like to make French toast with that too. So, but anyway, we have lots and lots of food filling in the crevices here. And we have a bag of 16 English muffins to put in the fridge.
Thanks for hanging out with me today and the other day. Bye.